Welcome back to the Winner's Circle. Today we have a specifically requested episode, so I'm really excited to get into it. But before I get into our topic today, all about the Winner's Circle, this is the tough love, the mentality, the deep mindset work that is really going to help you level up from just being kind of the nerpy average Joe to the true champion and winner of everyday life. That is what the Winner's Circle segment is about, in case you're new here. But before we get into that, we're going to do some housekeeping. So for those that are unaware, I recently partnered up with Legion, the supplement company. This is the only brand that I've ever actually considered working with because I was recommending their products to my clients for years before I actually ended up doing an affiliate with them, being one of their ambassadors. So when they reached out to me, I was like, you know what? I never intended to do any kind of brand deal. I never intended to partner up with anybody or get affiliate links. I don't know. It's just never something I valued. But when they came forward, I was like, you know what? I love these guys, and I think that sounds like a great idea. So what I can get you guys now as a result is if you use code FITBYKP at checkout, FITBYKP, you know, me. If you use that at checkout or you go through my link, which I will link in the show notes, you can get buy one, get one 50% off your first order through Legion. And then anytime you order through them again, you get 20% cash back on their loyalty program. So essentially every 5 supplements you're going to get for free, which is pretty dang nice. So all of that to say, guys, I'm really honestly grateful that opportunity came into my life because, again, it's not something I sought after. It's not something I thought I would, ever really be talking about. I never started a coaching business or started posting on social media with this intention. But when it came forward, I was really happy to take it. And I'm proud of myself because that means that, being recognized by a company like Legion, who, I love their supplements for the quality. It's, third-party tested. They don't use any artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavors. They don't use proprietary blends, so you know exactly what you're getting in all of your supplements. I love them for those reasons. That's why I've been recommending them. But I also love them because they work with a lot of athletes. They're very much an athlete-sponsored company, an athlete-centered company. And so for them to reach out, I felt very recognized for the work that I've been putting out there. So a small moment just to share my gratitude because all of you guys are the reason that I'm able to get that recognition and the reason that brands are able to come forward for me. So that will be one of our newest podcast sponsorships. So guys, make sure to use code FITBYKP at checkout for buy one, get one 50% off or for 20% cashback loyalty rewards. Another piece of housekeeping, guys, it is Friday, June 27th when I'm posting this. So that means that in 2 days, Athletic AF, the membership, that is my monthly membership where every single month we focus on a new athletic theme inside my app. You guys can come in and join the app, be a part of the team, be a part of more intense workouts. This is definitely more for the advanced athlete or for the experienced lifter. On Monday, we are starting a new program all about speed. We are going to focus on a 4-week speed program. So if you guys are looking to run faster, if you're looking to get back into sprints, if you're looking to get more powerful, more explosive so that you can get to the ball faster in soccer or in pickup basketball, or you just somebody that loves sprinting. And somebody reached out to me in the DMs recently asking me if I had any sprinting work for her. And I was like, oh, wouldn't you know? It's good timing. So if you want to join the membership, I'll link that in the show notes as well. That's $97 a month. You can come in and train like an athlete. We also do a monthly mindset focused challenge all about how you can level up your life, much like these Winner's Circle segments, how you can level up your life to be a winner every single day. The final piece of housekeeping, and this one I'm really excited for, is that I am launching my new 4-month group program called Reignite. This is specifically for the woman who is, maybe in her late 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, maybe even 60s. I do actually work with quite a few 60-year-olds, but you're coming into the world of training like an athlete. You know you want to train like an athlete. You have the desire to train like an athlete, but you don't know where to start without fear of getting injured, without fear of going too hard at the gym, which you've done before, where you go ham at the gym for 2 weeks and then you accidentally pull a hamstring muscle and you're out for 4 months and then that cycle continues and repeats. We're going to break that with this program. It's all about focusing on injury prevention, on tissue quality, and on movement quality, as well as building strength, as well as building intensity, as well as building conditioning. It is truly the full athletic system, and we go through a 5-phase system throughout this 4-month program. I also have incorporated nutrition coaching. This is a completely comprehensive nutrition program. Every single week, you're going to have new nutrition lessons, new nutrition tasks, and we're going to build slowly, sustainably with simple steps so that it's not overwhelming. It's not this complete overhaul of your life, but we're meeting you with where you're at so that you can actually fuel your body and fuel your mind for all of these new athletic endeavors that you are pursuing, and so that you can really, truly align your mentality of being a champion because you're here listening to the Winner Circle, so I know you are one, with the actions that are going to get you there. You're going to be able to have that reflected in your life, in your energy, in your body. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. There is also, because you're listening to the Winner Circle, a 16-week mindset course all about living like a champion every single day with specific actions to take every week, with prompts, with deep discussions. It is going to be a complete train, fuel, and think like an athlete program so that you can be a winner in your everyday life. There's also an option to upgrade to VIP if you would like some more one-to-one experiences with me, closer proximity, closer communication. Every 2 weeks, there are only about 6 to 8 athletes that are going to be available for VIP. I keep that group pretty small. We have group meetups where we get together on Zoom and we discuss anything that you have, any questions that you have, any roadblocks you're experiencing, any form feedback you want, anything like that, in a close, intimate proximity. And we do that every 2 weeks. So those discussions are going to be incredible. You'll also get a little custom swag bag, a little goodie bag when you join. So if you guys are hearing that and you are joining before July, go ahead, sign up for an early bird bonus where you're going to end up getting $300 worth of savings from the bonuses that you will receive when you sign up early. Okay? So now let's get to the topic. I love having so much housekeeping because it means things are happening out here. Okay, guys, so like I said, this is specifically an episode that was requested by a client of mine, actually, one of my one-to-one clients who I'm about to start my 3rd year of work with. I adore this woman to the ends of the earth and back, so I know she's probably listening to this. Hello, hi, I love you. She came forward and asked me a question that I thought could not be more relevant to the Winner Circle because her question was all about leadership. If you break it down, her question was about leadership. And she is a leader for a group of people, and she wanted my perspective as a coach because I'm also a leader for a group of people. And I think it's unbelievably important that we don't separate winners from leaders because they are one in the same. Winners are leaders because that's just the way that you carry yourself in your life. And so this is an unbelievably important aspect of being a good leader, a solid leader, a good communicator. This was her question. How do you toe the line between being overly encouraging and giving feedback to those that work under you or that look up to you for leadership or advice? Essentially, her question was, I need to give people feedback, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want them to feel bad. So I'm very encouraging to them, but I'm fearful that I'm so encouraging that I'm actually then not even able to give the feedback. And this is such a great question, all about how, again, to toe the line between giving feedback, giving constructive criticism, and being an encouraging, positive leader, because I think that there's probably very few people in this world that have not experienced this conflict. Me, personally, even as I record this episode, I have a little bit of resistance right now because a lot of this has to do with being a people pleaser and getting over people-pleasing tendencies. And I, as an actively recovering people pleaser, definitely feel a little bit of imposter syndrome when I discuss this topic because I'm not completely over that yet. Have I made incredible strides forward in my people-pleasing journey? Absolutely. Do I feel like I can give advice from a place of empathy and from a place of, look, I've been there and this is what I've had to do to overcome it? 100%. And I know this is an active journey for me. It might be an active journey my entire life, to be honest, because these people-pleasing roots run deep. But one thing I very quickly realized as a coach is that people-pleasing is doing your humans such a genuine disservice. And so when I talk about people-pleasing in the context of this question, I'm talking about the overly encouraging without being able to fit in the feedback. So, for example, people come into my world and they are paying me hundreds of dollars a month for my coaching. I have gotten to a point where I'm very confident in that, and I know I can deliver them one hell of a product. Their workout program, it's going to get them their goals. They're going to be injury-free. They're going to feel the best they've ever felt. I swear, somebody new tells me every single week that they've never felt this good in their life. I feel amazing about my workouts. Nutrition, I freaking got you. I understand nutrition not just from a scientific lens, but from a behavioral lens. I can help you 180 your nutrition so that it feels incredibly easy. I feel extremely confident there. I can tell you all of the incredible mindset rewiring and tips and tricks all the live long day because I've studied it so deeply and because I've lived it. I know my coaching is good. I know my product is good, I should say. But there was a massive, massive learning curve for me. Even with all of that confidence in the physical product I was delivering, there was a massive learning curve for me in how to be an adequate coach. Now, hear me when I say that. A coach is not just the AI prompt that gives you the ChatGPT response of the perfect workout and the perfect nutrition plan and the perfect mindset shift. Anybody can get that anywhere now. You could go on Google and find it. You could go on ChatGPT. You could ask a friend. But where a coach comes in, and this is the invaluable part, is being able to, one, see your potential before you can. And I believe any good leader and any good winner is able to see the best traits in the people that they are leading. But it's also being able to tell people to step up when the standard is not being reached, when the standard is not being achieved. I mean, think about it. Think about any coach you've ever had in your life. Every coach's job, when you think about a really great coach, maybe it's one of your high school coaches or a college coach if you played at that level, or a coach in the professional sports world that you love and admire. If you think about that coach, what are the qualities you admire about them? It's their ability to create success on a team. And the only way you're able to create success is to minimize the failure, to minimize the mistakes, to improve the level of the athletes, to improve the skill level of the team. And the only way you're going to be able to achieve each of those qualities is by calling people out when they're not doing it. Because no coach in the history of ever has had a perfect group of athletes come in that already knew how to do everything properly and could do it all on their own. There's a reason that every team has a coach. It's because a coach keeps the organization together. A coach keeps the standard of the team upheld. A coach is able to say, hey, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is the level we do it at. Rise up to the occasion. A coach calls you to rise up. And a great coach is able to balance that with, hey, you're doing great. Hey, I'm so proud of you. Hey, you did really great today. Amazing. You want a coach that says positive things. A coach that doesn't say positive things looks like Bill Belichick at the end of their career. And that's from a Patriots fan. I don't know if that man's ever complimented anyone in his life. And he looks pretty miserable. And his players always talked about how hard the team was to be on, even though they won championships. The point is that a great coach is the coach that sees their athletes for who they are and is able to, yes, encourage them, but also say, hey, your practice today, not the standard that we like to play at. Better come in better prepared tomorrow. Or, hey, your conditioning, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to last 90 minutes on that soccer field. You better work on your off-season conditioning or you're probably not going to have a place on this team. They're able to tell you the hard truths that you need to hear because that's the only way that you're going to make the improvements that you need to make. That's what a coach does. A coach is able to tell you what you need to do that you're not doing. They're able to see your blind spots for you. They're able to see the areas that you need to raise your standard. Now, I understand that when you're in this position of being the leader, of being the team captain, of being the project manager, of being the boss, of being the recreational manager, whatever it is, if you're in a position where people look up to you to hold that level, to hold that standard, and to make sure everything flows in the best way possible, you need to have some conversations that aren't just going to be about blowing steam up people's ass. You cannot only be a hype man. You can be a hype man and a constructive criticizer, if you will. But you cannot have one without the other. And this is very difficult if we want to circle back to people pleasers, because people pleasers act solely from a place of how is this information going to be received by the person I'm telling them? And they're saying that from the lens of, I don't want this person to perceive me in a way that makes me look bad. I don't want to hurt their feelings because that means that I hurt their feelings, and that means that they're not going to like me, or they're going to feel scared around me, or they're going to feel insecure around me, and then I feel insecure as a result. So I don't want to make anyone unhappy. I don't want to ruffle any feathers because I'm not ready to handle whatever their emotional response is going to be to this less than positive information. A people pleaser is never worried about the information that they're telling the person because of how the person's going to respond. A people pleaser is worried about how the person is going to perceive them as they relay this information, and as a result, they base their worth off of how they are being perceived by others around them. Think about it. Somebody that can't set boundaries because they're afraid of hurting somebody else's feeling because they don't want to be somebody making another person sad. They don't want to be somebody making another person mad. They don't want to be on the receiving end of somebody being unhappy with them. It's like people pleasing is actually incredibly selfish because you're not even necessarily worried about how the other person's feeling, even though you think that's what it is. You're worried about how they're going to feel because of how it's going to make you feel as a result, because you're not secure enough in yourself, in your identity, in your leadership, in your personality, in your actions. You're too insecure in all of these areas to be able to hold a high enough self-concept to be able to withstand whatever is thrown at you. So if somebody is going to say, hey, what the hell, why did you say that to me? But you know they needed to hear it. A secure person's going to say, you know what? I know that's not personal. They're just a little defensive right now because I told them they need to get better at. I know that they're just feeling frustrated. They're maybe feeling a little burnt out. They're feeling a little insecure. That has nothing to do with me. But a people pleaser, when someone goes, what the hell? Why'd you tell me that? Like, you're so wrong. A people pleaser is going to hear that and go, oh my God, I can't believe that. They're so mad at me. They're going to hate me. I knew I wasn't worth being in this position. I knew I wasn't worthy of having this conversation. I knew people hated me. And you use it as a reason to, fulfill that self-fulfilling prophecy of I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I shouldn't be here, whatever it is. So when you have those people-pleasing tendencies where every word you say, every action you take, every boundary you do or don't set is based upon how it's going to be perceived by the person that is involved in this beyond you, that is when these conversations become really difficult. Because when you have to tell somebody feedback, constructive criticism, or ways they need to improve, ways that they need to level up, when you come in and you say, hey, I need you to rise, you're playing with the potential that somebody might get offended, somebody might get defensive, somebody might not have a positive reaction to that. They might get sad, they might get mad, they might get frustrated, they might get annoyed, they might get stressed. Hell, they might even talk shit about you. They might go to their coworkers and go, I can't believe this person told me that. They're such a hard ass. Or they may go to their teammates and go, what gives her the right? Why does she think she can tell me that? Like, I know I was doing this well. Well, however it's relevant to you. And so when that happens, you have to have a high enough self-concept, high enough belief in yourself, and a high enough confidence in your actions, in your words, and who you are to be able to withstand the heat. Because if you can't withstand the heat, you are not going to be able to live in the kitchen of being somebody that can lead groups. So if you're already wondering how you're supposed to be somebody that can give better feedback without being overly encouraging to the point that you don't even give the feedback, then that's where you go, okay, the very first step in this process is me needing to get to know myself more deeply. I need to understand what these wounds are. I need to understand where my insecurities are, because once I understand my insecurities better, I will then be able to have a higher self-concept. I will then be able to navigate difficult conversations with people from a better place because I'm able to stand in my truth. I'm able to have my own back better. A lot of that is what it comes down to, is being able to have your own back and not basing your worth based on how other people see you, but it's solely based on how you respect yourself. This really is about self-respect at the end of the day. So you need to explore your relationship with people pleasing and your relationship with being able to tell somebody information and not personally receiving whatever their response is back. Because think about it on a soccer team. If there is a player she's the midfielder. Anybody that knows about soccer knows a midfielder is probably the most conditioned person on the team because they're doing so much running and they're setting up so many plays and their offense and their defense, and they've got to be involved in basically everything. Respect the midfielders. At one point, I was told to be a midfielder because I was fast, and I very quickly went to goalie after that because I did not enjoy the running. Anyway, that's a story for another time. I feel like nothing has changed about that. But anyway, so midfielder, if you have a soccer team and this team really wants to win a national championship, or you really want to win, maybe more relevant to who's listening to this, you really want to win your pickup league because you get free t-shirts at the end. This is a true story. This has actually happened. I was part of a pickup league and we wanted to win free t-shirts at the end. And so when you're looking at the team and you're looking at everyone that's there, but your midfielder has just horrific conditioning and she has a sour attitude. So she's not able to run very well. She has to get subbed out really easily, even though her skill levels are high. She's just not in very good shape. And every time she gets taken out, she gets mad at the coach because she's like, what the hell? Like, I'm the best player. I should be in there. These are all pretty negative traits. These are all traits that can really bring the environment of a team culture down. Now, what a good coach or a team captain maybe, or even just a teammate needs to do is come in and lead. They need to come in and call this teammate to rise up. They need to say, hey, listen, you are skilled, but your natural skill does not allow you to be out there when you're gassing out and the other team is running circles around you. Or your natural skill does not outwork the other girl that has done her off-season conditioning and now she's getting the position over you, even though her footwork's not as good. At least she's positive. At least she smiles at her teammates. At least she encourages them. At least she's not throwing a hissy fit every time she gets taken off the field, because the culture of this team is important. So if you want that to be you, if you want that position to be yours, if you want to play on this team and help us win those free t-shirts, then you better step up to the level of the team. Now, that is an important message that needs to be shared, but you can imagine if a people pleaser comes into the situation and you have to tell somebody that you already know has a sour attitude and is probably not going to receive the information well, you have to tell that person pretty negative news to them. And you know they're going to get defensive because that's who they are. A people pleaser is going to shy away from that conversation because they're going to be too scared about the other person getting mad at them and them having to receive that hatred or that rejection. A leader, on the other hand, is going to come into the situation and say it anyway because you know it's for the best of the team. And not only is it for the best of the team, it's also for the best of this individual. Here's the thing about feedback. Feedback is not there to make somebody feel bad about the job they did. Feedback is there to help that person be better at what they're doing. Whether it's me giving my clients form feedback, I'm not telling them, hey, you suck, I can't believe you squatted like that. I'm telling them, hey, if you were able to, put more weight distribution into your heels in this situation, or if you were able to hold your chest up a little bit higher, you'd be able to lift a lot more weight. You'd be able to do this with, a lot less pain. You'd probably be able to progress through this exercise even quicker, and then we can advance to a faster one. And you're coming from the lens of, let me tell you what you need to do so that you can get better, so that your life can improve, so that our goals as, two people training together can get achieved, but also just so that you can experience higher levels of success. This is how you can be a winner. I'm giving you feedback so that you can be a winner. I'm not telling you this because I want you to feel bad. I'm not telling you this so you can look back at every situation where you haven't squatted perfectly and gone, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I wasn't squatting well, or however this is relevant to you. Feedback is not just about you being able to deliver a message for the wellness of the team. Feedback is also about you being able to deliver a message so that this person can live their life better. I've never given form feedback to somebody where they've gone, why'd you tell me that? Like, I'm super offended that you would say that about my squat. Every time I give someone form feedback, they're like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't know I was doing it wrong. And now they're happier because they have more confidence in their lift and they're able to advance to a higher skill level. If it's in the workplace and somebody keeps putting the paper in the wrong mail slot, or they keep emailing the wrong person, or they keep doing the wrong formula in Excel, or whatever it is, if you let them keep doing that, they're going to get a bad performance review. If you let them keep doing that, the team is going to get really frustrated with them because they're not executing their job, and they're not going to get the raise, and they're not going to advance in the company or in the corporation the way that they want to, or the way that they could, or the way that they deserve to. If you withhold feedback that could help somebody's life be better, as well as the lives of those who are around them in the team setting, then that's really doing the biggest injustice, the biggest disservice to that person. The person whose feelings you are afraid of hurting, or the person who you don't want to be too quote unquote mean to, is actually being really mean to them to not tell them this feedback, because you are holding them back from being better. If you see a blind spot for them that they can't see and you don't hold it and you don't tell them, you hold that information back from them because you're too afraid of having a tough conversation, that's really selfish. Because at the end of the day, again, being a people pleaser is selfish because you just don't want to deal with the emotions of how you're being perceived. And I say that with love. Again, I am literally a recovering people pleaser, and it seems like you're doing it for the other person, but if you get down to the psychology of it, it's all based on you. So don't be afraid of giving feedback, because you're only raising the standard of every single person involved in this situation. Now, that's on how to give feedback as a people pleaser and the reasons why you want to do it. Because also, and I mentioned this earlier, I don't think I finished that story. Imagine that. I didn't finish a story on a podcast. I went on 17 tangents before that. Who? Who, me? But anyway, when people come into my world and they're paying me hundreds of dollars for coaching, and I have this amazing product, this product that I know is going to change their life, but I'm not able to tell them, hey, you've been really inconsistent lately. You need to step it up, because at this point, you're throwing hundreds of dollars a month at me for nothing, because you're not really getting anything out of it. You're not following the nutrition advice. You're not doing the workouts. You're not even listening to the mindset work. You're just, not listening to the coaching that I'm giving you. And if someone's doing that, then what a disservice it would be of me to charge them a bunch of money to then be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have a hard conversation with them, so I'm just going to tell them that they're doing really good and that they'll get it next time. Like, there's a point when that's not in service anymore. There's a point when I'm actually being incredibly selfish, and I would consider it like a malpractice, if you will, to not tell somebody what they needed to hear. Because again, people aren't always aware of the things they're doing wrong, or sometimes they just need someone to slap them across the face and wake them up. Like, I'm thinking even the tough conversations at the end of the day, even if someone's defensive right away, they circle back around later and they say, you know what, I didn't realize that at the time because I didn't have the perspective that I have now, but I really needed to hear that. Thank you so much for telling me that. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to receive the information maybe as well as I could have at the time. And again, that's on being able to deliver feedback without needing to get validated back by their emotions. You tell them what they need to hear, and you tell them in a positive way, which I'll get to in a minute. You tell them what they need to hear, and it's on them to be able to process that information. And when you do that without any attachment to how they're going to respond, then you're able to deliver proper leadership. You're able to deliver proper feedback, and you're able to help everybody level up and rise up as a result. Because when you're not basing the information you're telling this person, the feedback you're telling this person, the constructive criticism you're telling this person, when you don't base it on, I wonder how they're going to respond, I wonder what they're going to say back to me, whether you're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared they're going to yell at me, or you're like, oh, I can't wait for them to say, thank you so much, this is the best thing ever, you're the best boss ever, thank you. Like, either way, you're looking for a response. You're looking for either a positive or a negative response back. When you don't make it about that, and when you make it simply about the information you're giving them and not the emotional response that they give you back, then that's when you're able to actually give feedback from a place of pure intention of helping this person live a better life, of helping this person raise their standard, of helping the team work better and more succinctly. So learn how to get over your people-pleasing tendencies. Take away the any attachment you have from how the person's going to respond back to you. And then when it comes to towing the line between being encouraging and giving feedback, I think that this is a very, very beautiful art and a very valuable skill to get a lot of practice with, because it is unbelievably important when you give someone feedback or criticism, constructive criticism that is, to come from a place of pure intention. Your energy behind your words needs to be, I'm telling you this because we all love you and want you to get better. I'm telling you this because the entire team needs to be on the same page if we all want to achieve this common goal. Whether it's the free t-shirts from the team championship, or whether it is the promotion that the team is trying to get at work, or, you know, whatever it is, however this is relevant to you. You need to come from a place of pure positive intention. You cannot come from a place of disdain. You cannot come from a place of feeling resent for this individual for not stepping up in the ways that they needed to earlier. Like in the example of the midfielder that I mentioned earlier, you might be frustrated with her. You might be kind of mad at her because she hasn't been doing her job and she's had a crappy attitude, but you can't come in and just be like, hey, you suck. You need to pick your game up. This is the worst. You need to come in and say, hey, I know what you're capable of. I see your potential. You do deserve to be here, but we're not going to give you any shortcuts. I know you're capable of leveling up to the standard, and I'm going to hold you to that standard. And if you're not okay with being held to that standard, then you might need to find a different environment because this isn't going to be the one for you. Or if it's the case of work where somebody keeps, putting the wrong formula in the Excel sheet or whatever, and it's making all the numbers wrong, and then the team report is all messed up and everybody gets yelled at, you have to go up to that person and say, hey, just want to let you know, it's great having you on this team. We do all appreciate you. And I've noticed that this mistake has been recurring to the point where it's actually not okay to continue this action moving forward. We need to level up your behavior. We need to raise you to a higher standard for yourself and for what you're doing for this team. We don't like to create a culture of being of lazy or of not stepping up to the plate. Everybody here wants to do a good job, and we all want to do a good job for each other. And I know that you're capable of that. I don't think you're a bad worker by any means, but I noticed that this mistake really does need to stop. So how can I support you, or what system can we create together to make this easier for you, or to make this not happen again? So it's coming from a place as a leader of how can I support you? What can I do for you? And letting them know that they're valued and appreciated. Because I think if you don't let someone know they're valued and appreciated, almost off the bat, it is guaranteed that they're going to be defensive. So when you're giving someone feedback or when you're giving someone constructive criticism, you have to let them know, hey, listen, this is not about to be a personal attack on you. This doesn't have to do with your character. This doesn't have to do with how you're viewed and loved in this space, but this does have to do with how things are happening and how we need to raise, how we need to level up because this isn't okay. So, and on top of that, coming from a solutions-oriented perspective where you're not just like, listen, this is a shit job, you need to do better, and you walk out of the room. You need to go, hey, listen, I appreciate you. I understand that this isn't easy. I understand it's been difficult, and I understand that we've had this conversation a couple times, but once and for all, let's put this to rest. What do you need? How can I support you as a leader? Because when you're the leader and not just like a teammate, even though I do think this is a valuable skill for a teammate too, but when you're the leader, when you're the winner, when you're the champion of the group, that's when you are going to be involved in this process. You are only as strong as your weakest link. And if you're just allowing your weakest link, if you're just allowing them to exist at the level they are without having them rise up or without giving them the extra support that they need, that's on you. If you see something that's wrong, if you see something that's not being done correctly or not being done to the best level, and you just allow it to happen, that's silly. You're allowing your own failure. You're allowing the downfall of the team because you're not saying anything. So come from a place of, listen, I understand as a leader in this situation, even though this really is your problem and all you got to do is put in the right freaking formula, what can I do to support you? Because we're in this together. We are a team. I am a leader to you, and I'm going to make sure you feel led and guided and supported. So, and again, you don't even have to be a boss or a manager or a CEO or whatever in these situations when it happens in a professional environment. You could also just be a good teammate coming in and saying, hey, I don't know if anybody else is going to tell you this, but I've noticed this and people are talking about it and I don't feel right talking about this behind your back, so I'm just going to bring it straight to you. Is there anything I can do to help you? Can we talk to management about this? Can we talk to our boss about this? Can we talk to leadership about this? Can we talk to our coach about this? How can we help this entire situation get better for everybody involved? So when you come from the authentic place of wanting to be solutions oriented, letting them know they're appreciated, letting them know that you're grateful for them, and making sure you pair that with, but I expect better from you, or I know you can do better. And I often, at least in a coaching situation, I love to uplift people in that way, where I'm like, hey, listen, the only reason I'm bringing this forward is because I know who you are and I know what you're capable of, and I'm just noticing that you're not stepping up to the level of performance that you're capable of. Like, what's going on there? Do we need to break this down? Do we need extra support? What's going to be the thing that helps you get through this situation? What's going to be the thing that helps you feel like you can perform better? All of that happens from a place of genuinity and from a place of wanting people to see the potential that they might not see in themselves. I think that's one of the best qualities of a coach, and I feel like that's actually one of my strongest assets as a coach, is I'm going to see your potential before you can. And I'm going to make sure I communicate that. And as I communicate that, that's when I am going to fit in the feedback. That's when I'm going to fit in the constructive criticism and say, listen, I know you're a strong, disciplined person. I've seen it. I've seen the way that you've trained for this. I've seen the way that you've showed up for your family in this way. I've seen the way that you show up at work. Why are you not giving that standard to yourself? Why are you falling short when it comes to your own goals? Where is that coming from? Let's break that down, and then let's figure out a system where I can support you to be able to navigate this situation better. All of that is coming, again, with the detachment from how the person's going to respond. Because if I'm just constantly in my head about how my client is going to respond to me and what they're going to think about me as a person, as opposed to what they're going to be able to improve in their life as a result of me coming forward with the truth, then that's just doing them such a disservice. If I'm only focused about, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? Are they going to like me? What if they want to cancel because I offended them? Like, hello. Nobody hires a coach because they're really, really good at doing the thing that they need coaching for. People hire coaches because they want to raise up. They want to level up. They want to raise their standard. People have managers because managers are the ones that are able to keep things together, and they look to this person to be able to lead them when the team doesn't know what else to do. So understand that when you are really, truly living as a winner and as a champion, your responsibility falls upon making sure that everybody is at the level they need to be at. The Michael Jordans, the Tom Bradys, the Simone Biles, all these elite level athletes that are on teams are not letting their teammates just passively get by. Like when Tom Brady was down 28-3 in the Super Bowl and it was the third quarter, you think he's going around telling everybody, it's okay, you're doing really good right now, you don't need to change anything, like let's just keep trying. Hell no. Oh my God, no. And what a disservice that would have been, because they would have lost the frickin' Super Bowl. Instead, he went up and he told everybody, you need to step up. This isn't how we play. This isn't our standard. Are you going to rise up with me, or are you going to fail? And he was able to get the entire team to get encouraged around the concept of this game isn't over, we can still win this, because he told them what they needed to hear, not what they wanted to hear. If you go watch the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, he has plenty of moments like that in his career where he's like, listen, I know I'm the face of the team, but everybody's better rise up with me because I can't do this alone. And, you tell your teammates what they need to hear. Simone Biles would take those young gymnasts under her wing because she had Olympic experience when they didn't, and she would encourage them, but she would also tell them what they needed to do in order to raise up to the level of a gold medal Olympic champion. She's like, this is the standard. Take it or leave it. So you're only doing people a service. You're only helping people's lives improve by telling them what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. So make sure that you're coming from a place of detachment. Make sure that you're coming from a place of pure intention. Make sure you let somebody know how appreciated they are and how grateful you are for them, and how you're going to come in and support them through this process, and what you can do to support them. Be very solutions oriented, be very solutions focused, bring in the encouragement, but make sure through the lens of encouragement, you're telling them to stand up. You're telling them to rise up. You're telling them to step up. Make sure they know that you'll be there for them, and you're not judging them for where they are right now, but things can't keep going the way that they are, and it's time for things to change. That is what it takes to be a winner and a champion, is the discomfort physically, is the discomfort in putting yourself in tough situations, but it's also the discomfort in conversation. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're going to have these crazy intense workouts or this disciplined work schedule, but you're not able to have a tough conversation, you're not living in full alignment, and you're not being the best winner and champion that you could be in your life. And it really is that simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Winner's Circle. I think it's so relevant. I think it's an important conversation, and I'm going to have to listen to this a couple of times because there's definitely some information here that I need to repeat to myself. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, I have Reignite, the 4-month program, coming out. If you get in before July, you're going to get early bird bonuses on Monday, June 30th, I believe, is when the speed phase starts in Athletic AF, if you want to get into the membership before then. And if you want to grab some Legion products, actually through July 6th, if you're listening to this before then, they are having a BOGO 50% off the entire website, regardless of whether you're a new customer or not. Just make sure you use my link so that your girl can get some points. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and I will catch you for the next episode.